are lucky to have here with us Dr. Adolfo Reutemann from the Israel Museum, director of the Shrine of the Book. Therefore, with this conference, I want to stress a new chapter for the museum, for us, and for the Dead Scrolls. I would like to introduce now and thank Marcello Fidanzio, professor of the Faculty of Theology of the University of Lugano and director of the publication of excavations and at the Qumran caves, where our scrolls were found, and the Goren Monteferrari Foundation, who contributed and made this event possible.
Our story begins on the morning of November 23rd, 1947. Eleazar Lipa Sukenik, our main character, on the morning of Saturday, November 29th, 1947, Eleazar, without telling his family, gets on the bus to Bethlehem. He is the only Jew. All the others on board are Arabs. He arrives in Bethlehem and finds the antiquities shop, where Eleazar received 3 scrolls in a very good state of preservation. He hides them under his jacket, wrapped in a newspaper, and takes the bus back home. From that day, Qumran becomes the phenomenon that it is to this day, a formidable heritage of religious literature dating to a crucial time for Judaism and for the rise of Christianity. Lastly, in 1967, the temple scroll will be added to the collection housed in the Shrine of the Book. It is the longest scroll that has been found, over 8 meters, and well preserved. It was discovered in 1956 in the last cave with manuscripts found at Qumran, cave number 11. So the scrolls are artifacts and should be studied in their material context. So cave 1 is located 1 kilometer north of the settlement at Qumran, and to reach it is necessary to climb for about 15 minutes. All the material found inside the cave, at least 52 jars and the corresponding lids, linen fabrics, the scroll, phylacteries and phylactery cases, oil lamps, a cooking pot, a wooden pole, enter into the cave through the hole that we see above. Okay, this is the settlement, the marble platform, with caves, artificial caves here and there at the edge of the marble platform. And you see on the left the rocky cliff. And far on the north is cave 11. Cave 11 was the last cave with manuscript to be found. Over the centuries, sediment transported by rainwater had almost completely closed its entrance. It's a huge cave. It's the bigger of the 11 cave where the scrolls were found. We return to the crucial question: why were the manuscripts deposited in the caves? Because, no fragments, even one teeny fragments, no fragments at all were found in the ruin of the settlement.
So it's a real pleasure to share with you one of the most significant spiritual treasures in the history, not just of the people of Israel, actually of human mankind. Out of the first 7 scrolls discovered by Bedouins, this scroll is actually maybe the most famous one, the Isaiah scroll. Manuscript A from Cave 1 is a full version of the book of Isaiah, the great prophet of Israel, maybe the second one after Moses. This is a complete version of Isaiah. And then the king tonight, the commentary of Pesher on Habakkuk, who lived in the land of Israel 2,600 years ago, before the destruction of the first temple by the Babylonians. What is the Pesher Habakkuk? First of all, what is a Pesher? What we mean by a commentary? Bill Nitzan, today an emeritus professor from Tel Aviv University, he wrote the most important research in Hebrew on Pesher Habakkuk, and that's what she wrote. Pesharim are not concerned with explaining the words and content of prophecies in their biblical context, but rather with discovering in historical events the fulfillment of prophetic oracles. whether in the generation of the authors of the Pesharim or in the eschatological era. Today, we, at the Shrine of the Book, were the first in history who put 5 of the 8 scrolls in our collection on Google. So how I can summarize the real meaning of this discovery? I thought that the best way is to bring the message written by a key scholar in the history of the research, Professor Yigael Yadin. In a classical book, he wrote on the meaning of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and see what Yigael Yadin tried to explain to us why the Dead Sea Scrolls are so significant. I cannot avoid the feeling that there is something symbolic in the discovery of the scrolls and their acquisition at the moment of the creation of the state of Israel. So an Israeli and a Jew can find nothing more deeply moving than the study of manuscripts written by the people of the book in the land of the book more than 2,000 years ago. And today they are on display at the Shrine of the Book in Jerusalem. Thank you.
ACC Arte Scritta is a young company carrying out cultural projects on commission. Our first project, the Torah, an exclusive masterpiece, has become a symbol of intercultural dialogue. But we can't forget the Israel Museum. Adolfo Reumann was an important part of this project because made the commentary of the text. I am pleased to present you a publishing project which, for the first time, makes available to the reader in a modern and understandable language the keys to one of the most important archaeological discoveries in history, the Dead Sea Scrolls, essential documents for the understanding of our cultural evolution over the last 2,000 years.
All the great families have their own family trees. For what concerns the monotheist religions, the family tree is the same, starting with the Greek and Roman culture on one side and the Jewish culture on the other side. The backbone divides itself in 2 ways, Christian and Jewish. 100 years before Christ and 200 years after Christ, some important explanations came from the Dead Sea Scrolls, and they have influenced and clarified the changes and the environment of that time.